And the first made in India Airbus C-295 aircraft completes maiden test flight from Vadodara. The successful test flight represents major leap in the C-295 program and the government's Make in India initiative. Here's a top story remains the growing attacks on Indian seafarers in West Asia, who continue, by the way, to find themselves in the very crosshairs of a conflict they have no stake in. In just the last 24 hours, two separate attacks off the coast of Oman have put Indian lives at risk in how. In the first instance, 24 Indian sailors on board a merchant tanker off the coast of the country, that's Oman. They were targeted in a US military strike. Now, the tanker Marivex reported a fire on board, a breach in its hull, and fears that the ship was in fact sinking. The incident took place around 28 kilometers of Oman's Masira Island. Then came an even more tragic development. 3 Indian seafarers who were initially reported missing, by the way, after another attack of Oman earlier this week, they've now been confirmed dead by authorities. The Palau-flagged oil tanker Setabello had a crew of 28 members, including 24 Indian nationals and 4 foreign nationals. And lastly, just a short while back, just a few hours ago, in fact, one commercial vessel, NT Jalveer, it came under attack close to the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. As I speak, rescue ops are currently underway. Meanwhile, let's start with the attack on the oil tanker Setabello. Like I mentioned earlier, these 3 missing Indian crew members have now been declared dead after search and recovery ops. The vessel came under a US military attack in the Gulf of Oman. On board were 24 Indians, along with 2 Pakistanis, 1 Ukrainian and 1 Russian national.
मंगलवार को शाम को फोन आया तो सब कुछ अच्छा था और बुधवार सुबह 7 बजे आता था फोन, शाम दोपहर 1 बजे फोन आता था, शाम को 9 बजे आता था। सिंगापुर पहले गए थे, बिल्डर कंपनी से गए थे, दिसंबर में 5 दिसंबर को गए हैं।
क्या जानकारी वहाँ से मिली है?
वो नहीं फोन किया, हमारे देवर फोन के जे भाभी भैया जहाजिया बम गिर गए बहुत ज्यादा।
Meanwhile, India's Shipping Minister Sarbananda Sonowal has called the incident a tragic loss, to say the least. In a statement, he said, and I'm quoting him, "It is deeply unfortunate to learn of this tragic incident about the Palau-flagged Setabello. Sadly, 3 Indian seafarers initially reported missing are now confirmed dead after their bodies have been located and identified. Among those who lost their lives was Aditya Sharma, a young deck cadet from Himachal Pradesh. He was training to become a licensed ship officer when the tanker came under attack. He was one of the 3 Indian sailors who was initially reported missing and later confirmed dead. The 2 others were engine fitter Shivanand Chaurasya and chief engineer Patnala Suresh. Let's now tell you about what exactly happened to MT Jalveer. The commercial vessel carrying Indian sailors has come under attack off the coast of Oman, very similarly like the other 2 vessels we discussed. Now, this has triggered fresh concerns over maritime security in the stretch. The Indian Embassy in Muscat, meanwhile, in a statement, it said it is monitoring the situation actively, involving and coordinating with local authorities for further details. And lastly, viewers, the third incident involves tanker Marivex. On the 8th of June, it reported a fire on board after it was struck by a US military strike. 24 Indian sailors similarly aboard the vessel were rescued to safety. Meanwhile, let's just listen into what the MEA had to say about all of these 3 incidents.
We have seen that there have been several incidents involving Indian seafarers in West Asia in the last few days. We attach high importance to the welfare and well-being of our seafarers community. We need not re-emphasize this point. Yesterday, we condemned the attack on a ship off the coast of Oman, in which, unfortunately, we lost 3 Indian nationals. We had summoned the US CDA here to register a strong protest. The continuing incidents of attacks on shipping in the region are deeply worrisome and a direct result of the ongoing conflict in the region.
Now, as the nation and the victims' families, they try to come to terms with this tragedy, an absolute tragedy, India's seafaring community is asking whether these attacks were really warning actions or something far more dangerous. The Forward Seamen's Union of India has strongly condemned the strikes, and that brings us to the bigger question here. How many more Indian civilians will pay the price for wars they're just not a part of? How many more families will receive a phone call instead of a homecoming? And most importantly, who will guarantee the very safety of Indian crews sailing through the world's most volatile waters? Well, to understand the full chronology of events, the attacks have had on the ships and the aftermath especially, my colleague and NDTV Senior Executive Editor Aditya Raj Kaul has sent us this report.
Well, even as the West Asia crisis continues, there has been, in fact, yet again an escalation over the last 4 days with 3 vessels and 3 ships being attacked, mostly by the US Central Command around the Strait of Hormuz. Now, even as all has not been well between Iran, United States and Israel, it is the Strait of Hormuz that is the bone of contention, really. There's no freedom of navigation. But in the midst of the turmoil are several Indian seafarers. Over the last 4 days, there have been 3 attacks by the US Central Command on different vessels that the Central Command says did not obey their orders and instructions and violated, in fact, the instructions that were given. 2 of the ships that have been attacked have been sanctioned also by the United States. The big question really is that when will there be some kind of a peace or settlement on the Strait of Hormuz? Unfortunately, in the second attack that took place yesterday on one of the vessels that was carrying Iranian oil, there were 21 Indians who were rescued out of the 24, and 3 unfortunately went missing, and there was a rescue operation launched by the Omani authorities at India's request, and unfortunately 3 Indian nationals were in fact killed, and their bodies have now been recovered. India's Shipping Minister Sarban Sonwal also gave details of the same as to how the 3 Indian nationals have been killed. Their bodies will be repatriated soon and mortal remains will be arriving in India. But certainly it is a big unfortunate development that's coming in at Disa.
Meanwhile, NDTV also spoke to the father of Aditya Sharma, one of the 3 sailors killed in this horrific tragedy. He termed the attack an act of war crime and demanded a fair investigation. Listen in.
Is Mr. Rajesh Sharma, who is the father of Aditya Sharma. In fact, Rajesh ji had reached out to me last night on X, on Twitter, appealing for Indian government to intervene. Rajesh ji, on behalf of the NDTV family, my sincere condolences to you. We are shocked as much as you and the family members and the entire nation stands behind you. But Rajesh ji, आप मेरे को बताएं, आपको कैसे पता चला? क्या कंपनी ने आपको कांटेक्ट किया? क्या सरकार से किसी ने आपको कांटेक्ट किया? इस जो अटैक अमेरिकी फोर्सेस ने इस शिप को किया था, इसके बारे में आपको कैसे मालूम चला?
पैनिक तो हम पिछले 3-4 दिनों से थे, क्योंकि लास्ट संडे को एक शिप पे ओमान में ही अटैक हुआ था, तो 24 क्रू मेंबर को बचा लिया गया था. देन आई कॉल माय सन एंड ही टोल्ड मी दैट दिस शिप वाज लिटिल फार अवे फ्रॉम देम, दे आर सेफ. एंड since then on Monday he just sent us WhatsApp message that I'm fine, and after 1 hour they were attacked. But we came to know about around 9 p.m. yesterday. So shipping line ने हमारे contact किया कि one of their ship Satyavali has been attacked and 3 crews are missing, and among them one is Aditya Sharma. So, and this morning the news is confirmed that all 3 missings are now declared dead.
Ji, Sarvanan Sonwal has also come out. He's the India's shipping minister. He's put out a statement, declaring this unfortunate development. Has anybody from the DG Shipping or the Shipping Ministry so far contacted you?
DG Shipping से मुझे थोड़ी देर पहले कॉल आया था, तो they told me कि they are already taking the matter with government and Ministry of Shipping also. So, and they assured us full cooperation and help. And I request them to bring my son's body back home.
Well, shifting gears and turning our focus to the US, where federal agents in California have arrested an Indian-origin real estate financier, one Mahender Makhijani, for orchestrating a $100 million bank fraud. Yes, prosecutors state that Makhijani falsified real estate records to secure massive lines of credit from Western Alliance Bank Corp. Court documents detail a systematic operation involving the blackmail of bank employees at private parties to prevent exposure. The Newport Beach businessman now faces decades in federal prison alongside a separate billion-dollar civil judgment. Here's a report. Mahender Makhijani operated Cantor Group V LLC, a prominent Newport Beach real estate firm. U.S. federal prosecutors state his entire financial operation rested on systemic document forgery. IRS and federal investigators found that Makhijani used Adobe software to alter property title insurance papers. By raising metadata, he hid prior debts owed to his real estate assets. He presented these doctored files to Western Alliance Bank to falsely claim first lien priority. This description allowed him to secure $100 million in credit backed by compromised collateral, maintaining the multi-million-dollar deception required to total compliance from bank insiders and corporate staff. The criminal complaint details a targeted campaign of extortion and coercion. Makhijani hosted private events featuring illegal narcotics and commercial sex workers. He targeted bank employees and business partners at these gatherings, collecting compromising evidence to leverage against them. Court affidavits show he also used direct death threats to keep subordinates from contacting regulators. Makhijani lived in a massive estate consisting of two side-by-side mansions. He traveled routinely via private charter jets and purchased a fleet of luxury vehicles, including a Bentley and a Porsche. Federal agents state he routed these purchases through a complex web of domestic and international shell companies to obscure his actual net worth. He's charged with federal bank fraud in Santa Ana District Court, carrying a statutory maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. Concurrently, an independent civil arbitration panel hit Makhijani with $1.3 billion judgment. That ruling stems from an entirely separate commercial real estate fraud case brought by a Southern California businessman. With federal agents freezing his assets, Makhijani remains in custody, awaiting trial. Bureau Report, NDTV World. Now we take you to the UK, where a lengthy and controversial legal battle in the High Court is deciding the future of a vital community hub in England. You see, worshippers from the Bharat Hindu Samaj temple on Rock Road in Peterborough, they're fighting to overturn a city council decision to sell their long-standing site to an Islamic organization. The temple's legal team argues that the sale was unlawful, it was flawed, and directly violates the Equality Act by leaving local Hindus with virtually nowhere else to go. You see, for 40 years, the New England complex on Rock Road, it's been the beating heart of Peterborough's Hindu community. But a controversial bidding war has thrown its future, well, into total chaos, you see. The City Council decided to sell the freehold of the site to the United Kingdom Islamic Mission after they put forth a higher financial offer. Temple leaders argue that the City Council cabinet members, well, they blindly, allegedly rubber-stamped the decision without even considering the devastating impact on their congregation. The council fiercely defends the process, insisting that the competitive bidding was transparent, it was fair, and took religious significance into account. Meanwhile, let's look at the timeline on your screens showing how this crisis unfolded over 4 decades. As you see right next to me, the community's roots here date back to 1986. That's when the temple was first established on this site. Now, decades later in 2017, 9 years ago, formal negotiations began with the City Council to secure the freehold. However, the situation escalated rapidly last year in September when a final bidding war was triggered by an outside offer, leading the council to officially approve the sale to the Islamic Mission in this year, that's February 2026. Now, just 1 month later, in March 26, the High Court stepped in with an emergency order to block this transfer. That brings us to June 2026. That's right now. This is where both sides have finally presented their arguments in a full judicial review hearing. Now, the clash over the community space is not an isolated incident. Across the UK, minority faith groups are increasingly forced to compete for a dwindling number of available public properties. Similar tensions flared recently in Northstowe, Cambridgeshire, where different religious groups, in fact, had to fight for the same plot of land. With the High Court now reserving its judgment on the Petersborough case, communities nationwide are watching closely, as they should, as the final ruling could very well redefine how councils manage and sell faith-based public assets. And well, with that, it's time we step into a short break. Much more lineup on the other side. We'll be right back.
Your home could help open doors to the retirement you want. Releasing equity from your home could give you the financial freedom to enjoy more of what matters. With 25 years' experience, we know this won't be right for everyone. But an Aviva Equity Release Advisor can help you decide what's right for you. Talk to Aviva about equity release today and see how your home can open doors.
When an unexpected expense catches you offside, Drafty can get you back in the game. Drafty Flex is like a handy pot of cash when you need it. There's credit up to £3,000 and money sent to your bank in 90 seconds. Borrowing £100 for 30 days costs under £6. Be prepared for the unexpected with Drafty. Apply at drafty.co.uk.
Right now, terrible things are happening to donkeys. They work all day in the blistering sun, without food or water. They're suffering silently, while their backs are breaking. Some are being abandoned and will be left to die alone. But the worst thing you can do to a donkey isn't to break its body. It's to break its heart. Because donkeys are loyal, loving creatures. They trust us to care for them. And when they're hurt and abused, they feel it inside too. But right now, you can do something incredible for donkeys. You can support the Donkey Sanctuary. Just call 0800 035 9318 and give £2 a month. Because your support can help protect donkeys. You can help us to treat the sick and the injured. You'll help to mend broken hearts so that they can learn to love and trust again. Right now, so many working donkeys around the world are suffering. But we can only be there for them with your help. So please, call 0800 035 9318 or text HEART7 to 78866 and give £2 a month to the Donkey Sanctuary, because terrible things are happening to donkeys. Please, do something incredible for them right now.
With Select Specs £6 specs, there's so much to see. So much style, so much choice, so much value, and so much convenience with next day delivery and our famous See Now, Pay Later offers. Complete prescription glasses from just £6 a pair at selectspecs.com/£6. You don't get that on the high street. selectspecs.com/£6.
Welcome back, viewers. You see, 7 years after the deadly Easter Sunday attacks in Sri Lanka, the main culprit may just have been found. In a massive development, Sri Lanka's Public Security Minister, Ananda Vijaypala, he's told Parliament that the nation's former intelligence chief, he directly orchestrated the deadly 2019 terror attacks. This marks the very first official statement linking him directly to the horrific bombings that killed 279 people. Providing chilling details, the minister revealed that Major General Suresh Saleh, who was arrested this February on charges of aiding and abetting, personally identified a Catholic church to be targeted. Here's what the explosive investigation has revealed so far. First and foremost, Major General Suresh Saleh allegedly conspired with and strategically directed Islamic extremists right up until they detonated the bombs. Secondly, Minister Vijaypala stated that 3 weeks prior to the massacre, Saleh purportedly met with operatives to secure precise details on the location and the size of the congregation. Third, a whistleblower previously told the British broadcaster Channel 4 that Saleh allowed the attacks to proceed intentionally, all to influence that year's presidential election in favor of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now, what is Saleh saying? Through his lawyer, he is fiercely denied any involvement whatsoever. But the pressure is mounting. So where does this case go next? You see, with the former spy chief behind bars, the floodgates are more than open. With more chilling details emerge in the interrogation room, will higher up and political heavyweights be named next? Well, we'll keep you updated with the latest. On to our quick take segments, where Rawalkot in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir witnessed yet another tragic day of bloodshed as the Pakistani army personnel and its rangers, they opened fire on thousands of unarmed protesters gathered at the city's Eidgah ground. What began as a peaceful demonstration by ordinary citizens demanding affordable flour, rice, electricity, the basic rights, it was turned into a sheer scene of horror. Between 60,000 and 70,000 people had assembled in Rawalkot when Pakistani forces unleashed gunfire on the crowd without warning. Men, women and young people who had come to raise their voices against economic hardship, they suddenly found themselves running for their lives. And the aftermath has left disturbing scenes across Rawalkot. Bloodstains, road, fields soaked in blood, and grieving families searching for loved ones. Well, if they've become symbols of the human cost of this crackdown, which, by the way, still continues unabated as we get you this broadcast. Stay with Pakistan, that has launched deadly new airstrikes on Afghanistan on Wednesday. This has ended a month of calm following what Islamabad previously described as open war between the neighbors. Now, the move has defied international efforts to bring a lasting peace or any semblance of a peace of any sort. You see, Afghanistan said that the strikes hit the eastern province of Khost, Kunar and Paktika. 9 people have been killed in the Khost province alone. This includes 7 children ranging from the ages of 3 to 15. All of them, mind you, were from the same family and were killed when their house collapsed from the Pakistani airstrike. Islamabad, on the other hand, it's confirmed that it carried out strikes, underlining it only targeted militant hideouts and infrastructure linked to recent attacks inside their country. And with that, it's time we slip into a short break. News and updates continue on the other side.
They can make me laugh lots and lots and lots and lots. They have to write arts and crafts, colouring, diamond art. Their favourite food is chocolate cake. They should have lots of pets. Goldfish, elephants, tigers, cats and ducks. They should be able to do a Rubik's Cube as fast as me, which is in 1.27 seconds. There can be a magician, so they can magically make me better. They would have to be caring. Strong. Give me the medicine and let me go home. Thank you.
Can meals be delicious, convenient and healthy? Yes. Field Doctor's recipes are dietitian designed and chef inspired, so they taste great. Create your personalised Field Doctor menu to suit your dietary needs, made with whole foods. Award-winning meals, delivered straight to your door, ready in minutes. Use code TV20 for 20% off your first 2 boxes. Go to fielddoctor.co.uk/TV. Field Doctor, feed your health.
Now that I'm in my 60s, I want to help make sure that my family will really be looked after if anything happens to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today, because they're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card. To get a free life insurance quote, call our friendly UK team or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring, because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
As a dad, I know life's unpredictable. It's all fun and games until it's not. That's why I'm not putting things off anymore. I'm protecting the life we've built by calling Smart Insurance.
You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age. All done over the phone for instant peace of mind and protection for your family. And we know family life doesn't wait. So as part of our Smart Family Guarantee, your loved ones are protected from day one. And 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback.
To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
Unexpected expense? Drafty's got your back. Borrowing £100 for a month costs less than £6. Apply at drafty.co.uk.
The front lines of Kargil. The fury of operations in the
so many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones. To fighter jet cockpits. And the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live. Unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Centre.
Hard facts.
War-struck country.
Hard questions.
In the Ukraine.
30 years of trust.
In the Kargil area. North Ukraine. In France, in Italy. At Srinagar. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom. Only on NDTV.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. Aditya Rajgol, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to the World Report with me, Arjun Samar Mahender. Viewers, let's take a look at what's making global headlines this Thursday. Let's first get you the latest coming in from West Asia. You see, the United States, it's launched a second round of airstrikes on Iran into Thursday morning. This comes after President Donald Trump warned that Tehran would pay the price for stalled negotiations. The new assault across multiple cities now, it comes as efforts to negotiate an end to the war appear struck once again, with Iran insisting to maintain its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz.
Attacking them very hard.
Resuming bombing?
Yeah, well, we are. Based on the helicopter, I guess we have the right to do that. You know, they shot down a very incredible, actually an incredible machine.
In response to these latest attacks, Iran's top military command has announced the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Iranian state TV media has also claimed that Iran had attacked the US Fifth Fleet in Bahrain.
مرکزی حضرت خاتم الانبیا صلوات الله علیه اعلام کرد در ادامه شرارت‌های آمریکای جنایتکار و با توجه به آغاز حملات ارتش متجاوز آن کشور به برخی از مناطق جنوب در استان هرمزگان از این لحظه به دلیل ناامنی در منطقه تنگه هرمز برای تردد هر نوع شناور اهم از نفتکش و تجاری بسته اعلام می‌گردد و هر گونه تردد مورد اصابت قرار خواهد گرفت.
Moving to Israel, Israeli airstrikes across southern Lebanon have killed at least a dozen people and wounded 13, including 2 paramedics on Wednesday. Moreover, as the military attacks continue in southern Lebanon, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he's now claimed that the Israeli Defense Forces have taken out nearly 10,000 Hezbollah militants. The Prime Minister claimed that Israeli military has been systematically clearing out, in his words, Iranian-backed Hezbollah forces in South Lebanon. Meanwhile, Netanyahu has also confirmed, so has his Likud party, that he will also be running in the October elections as the face of the far-right Likud party. Now, as attacks continue, oil prices, well, they keep on rising. Brent futures have climbed 2.5% to $95.4 a barrel. Pakistan has launched deadly new strikes on Afghanistan on Wednesday. Now, this has ended a month of calm following what Islamabad previously described as open war between the neighbors. The move has defied international efforts to bring lasting peace in the region. Afghanistan, on its end, it says that the strikes at eastern provinces of Khost, Kunar and Paktika. 9 people have been killed in the Khost province. Now, this also includes 7 children ranging from the age of 3 to 15 years. All were from the same family and were killed when their house collapsed from the airstrike. Pakistan, meanwhile, has confirmed it carried out strike, saying it targeted militant hideouts and infrastructure linked to recent attacks inside its territory. Over in the US, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has once again brought attention to matters in Cuba. Now, according to Hegseth, the US military has various options for the President Trump if he greenlights military intervention in the country. Trump has, by the way, warned that Cuba is next, following a US military raid in January that captured former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Not only this, Trump has also ordered a punishing oil embargo on the island nation, while former Cuban President Raul Castro faces federal murder charges if ever brought on US soil.
How long would a U.S. military operation take to remove the communist regime in Cuba, and what would happen per se, and how long would it take to, reestablish order if President Trump were to decide to do a capture-kill operation with Miguel Diaz-Canel like he did with Maduro in Venezuela?
All I would say is options, options, options. Our job is to present options at different scales, depending on where the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the United States wants to go.
Meanwhile, Cuban citizens are exhausted as the situation keeps on getting worse. The power shortage hit 68% of Cuba on Wednesday, marking one of the worst days since the United States imposed an energy blockade on the island. The constant outages, which can last more than 20 hours a day, are driving many to a breaking point across the country. A massive march of trade unionists, peasants and indigenous people have reactivated the protests in Bolivia. Protesters are demanding the resignation of Bolivian President Rodrigo Paz, which has led to shortages of fuel and food alike. For the past 40 days, the protests, which have included roadblocks, have mainly affected the cities of La Paz and El Alto, leaving them with shortages of medical oxygen, food and other essentials as well. According to reports, at least 10 deaths have been reported so far. Labor unions from different sectors and peasants are complaining that the government did not address their wage demands in time. They have now called for the quality of gasoline to be guaranteed and to cease the detention of their leaders. Thousands of protesters in Albania's capital of Tirana have continued protesting against a luxury resort project linked to Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and his daughter Ivanka Trump. Protesters say they oppose the project because of lack of transparency and warn that the development would damage the unique habitat of the Yasenata protected landscape. As the protest entered its second week, calls for Prime Minister Edi Rama to resign have also intensified, by the way. The government says the development on Albania's Adriatic coast would be transformational for the former communist nation as it seeks to expand into high-end tourism market and also advance its bid for European Union membership. Well, now let's move on to Belfast, where protests have intensified and the police in Northern Ireland are using water cannons now to disperse protesters. Violent protests fueled by anti-migrant rhetoric are causing unrest in the city. Aerial footage shows demonstrators, many of them masked and wearing black, throwing objects towards the cops as well as piling up bricks and setting fires in roads in Newtown's Abbey. Violence in Belfast saw protesters setting fire to several homes they believe to house immigrants, burning trash bins, torching a bus and pelting police with objects and stones. The disorder came after a savage knife attack by a Sudanese man in North Ireland's capital on Monday, which left the victim seriously injured and blind in one eye. Now, in a major development in the Jeffrey Epstein saga and the release of the Epstein files, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates testified before the U.S. House Oversight Committee. Speaking before the committee, he admitted to making a grave error in judgment, in his words, by meeting convicted child offender Jeffrey Epstein. However, the tech billionaire denied any wrongdoing as he faced hours of questioning from lawmakers about his relationship with the disgraced financier. In an opening statement, in fact, Gates said that he should have never met up with Epstein, but that he never had any indication that Epstein was engaged in criminal activity. Gates has become the latest powerful figure linked to Epstein to testify before the Court Oversight Committee in a closed-door deposition.
Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates appeared before the House Oversight Committee today in relation to their probe of Jeffrey Epstein. The hearing was closed session, but in remarks obtained by the Associated Press, Gates expressed regret and said that it was a grave error to meet with Epstein. Gates said that he communicated with Epstein in connection to his philanthropic work, and that Epstein had connections to donors that he was interested in. Gates was the 15th person to appear before the Republican-led panel as they look into Epstein and his ties. Lawmakers came from the meeting and said that Gates was largely cooperative. Lawmakers said that Gates acknowledged that he communicated with Epstein but cut off all ties after December 2014. Some lawmakers said that they pressed Gates on why he still communicated with Epstein after he pled guilty in 2008.
Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has reiterated his support for the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, this comes as the Congolese counterpart is on a visit to Cairo. More than 100 people have died from Ebola so far, and where authorities have declared an outbreak of the disease in eastern Congo. Attacks on health workers from angry residents, skepticism among some locals, and armed conflict in hotspots continue to challenge efforts to stop the virus outbreak in the country. The shooting incident has unfolded in South Africa. An armed gang opened fire in a poor neighborhood in South Africa's biggest city, killing 12 people and wounding at least 9 before fleeing in a minibus. At least 10 attackers participated in the mass shooting that unfolded late Tuesday night in informal settlement in Johannesburg's Cleveland suburb. Organized crime gangs have long vied for control of illegal mining and other activities in the city. Cops, meanwhile, are searching for the suspects in the same vehicle, but no arrests have been made so far. Taiwan's army conducted a second day of artillery live-fire exercise on Wednesday, featuring the US-applied high-mobility artillery rocket systems, or HIMARS. The drills on the west coast of Taiwan also featured 155 mm howitzers in a drill simulating a response to a Chinese military invasion, or should I say, a possible Chinese military invasion. The HIMARS multiple rocket launcher system was the centerpiece of this drill, as you see on the visuals right next to me. The launcher completed the firing sequence within 3 minutes, demonstrating its mobility and ability to quickly relocate after launching rockets. A tactic, by the way, known as shoot and scoot. The exercise, organized by the Army's 10th Corps, was designed to test rapid deployment, precision strike capabilities, and cross-regional fire support. This comes as Taiwan continues to strengthen its defenses against growing military pressure from Beijing. Shifting our focus, the International Criminal Court, or the ICC's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, he's been suspended with immediate effect following sexual misconduct allegations. The decision was made by a group within the ICC's management oversight body, which has also referred the matter, by the way, to the court's 125 member states. Now, the states will vote on Khan's future during a special session. The Oversight Bureau has stressed that the suspension does not prejudice the outcome of the case. Khan, on his part, has repeatedly denied all allegations of sexual misconduct, with his lawyers describing the decision as, quote, unlawful, procedurally unfair, and unsupported by evidence. And well, with that, it's time we slip into a short break. We'll be right back.
This is Zena. She had such a difficult start in life. It took a lot of time and care, but thankfully, she's happy and healthy now, with a loving home for life. You can adopt Zena today with the Donkey Sanctuary. And there are lots more lovely donkeys to choose from. Take Walter. He's so playful. He loves to chase his favorite ball. Or Ashley, such a fun-loving donkey. Or calm and confident Drizzle. Adopting a donkey costs from £4 a month. Adopt today and you'll help save donkeys all over the world from abuse and neglect. You'll love your adoption pack with gorgeous pictures of your new donkey friend, and we'll send you more great updates throughout the year. Call 0800 038 1948, visit adoptadonkey.org.uk, or text ADOPT9 to 78866. Adopt today from £4 a month and help many more donkeys in desperate need find the love and care they deserve. Thank you.
Being a grandparent changes everything.
And now I'm retiring, I want to help protect my grandkids' future.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a guaranteed cash payout up to £10,000 when you pass away. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted, and it can all be done over the phone in a matter of minutes.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Championing women is at the heart of ActionAid, standing side by side with women like Gloria, who fled conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo to find refuge in Uganda. And Leocadia, who fled the war in Ukraine to find safety in Poland.
Меня зовут Leocadia, а еще я бежен.
1 in 67 people have been forcibly displaced from their homes, and women and girls are often amongst the most vulnerable. With ActionAid support, Gloria trained as a tailor and inspired others to follow. And Leocadia created a cooking academy to help other refugees earn an income. ActionAid works with